All right, thank you very much, Professor Wing. I welcome everyone to this international seminar on digital technologies and digital leadership. I'm going to talk more about digital leadership, and the next speaker will talk more about digital technology. I am Bruno Tanko, the head of Built Environment University of Reading, Malaysia. Well, I want to take you through our institution, University of Reading. University of Reading is a respected UK university with established reputation. It's ranked among the top 20% in the world. So this is our campus in the UK. We have students from over 150 countries around the world. And this is Reading, and this is London. So from Reading to London is 25 minutes by train. And we have a campus here in Malaysia, which is 25 minutes to Singapore by car. We also have a campus in China right now. And from our campus in Malaysia in Johor, it will take you about 45 minutes to Kuala Lumpur by flight. So our campus is strategically located, right? Okay, we have the best of both worlds. We have the UK campus and we have the Malaysian campus. Here are some of our students from University of Reading, Malaysia, at the White Knight campus at Reading in the UK. So this is our campus. This is the background of our campus here in Malaysia with a very good environment. We have 5 schools. We have the School of Psychology and Clinical Language Sciences. We have the School of Built Environment. We have the School of Law. We have Henley Business School, and we have Foundation and Language Institute. Our School of Psychology is top 50 in the UK for psychology. Our law is 7 in England for employability. And Built Environment is 5th in the UK, and it's also accredited by 5 internationally recognized bodies. And we also have Henley Business School, which is accredited by 3 recognized associations. Well, these are foundation school that fits the undergraduate program. So here's the team, here's the leadership team at the University of Reading here in Malaysia. We have Professor Tech from Henley Business School, Professor Anne, Head of Law. We have Professor Bruce, Head of Foundation, Professor Rachel, Psychology, and this is me, Bruno. Okay, this is our campus, state-of-the-art Malaysian campus. We have recreational activities, we have different digital labs, right? So we have a dedicated beam lounge in University of Reading here in Malaysia, which is like a digital lab. We have AR, we have 3D printing, we have VR integration, we have scan to beam, we have different digital equipment in our university. And other departments and schools also have digital equipment. We have the moot court and legal clinic. We have psychology labs. We have financial dealing room. And we have a lot of things at our university. You can see the background of the university, so green and so digitally inclined, right? All right, this is me in one of the digital transformation presentation in University of Reading, Malaysia. So we advance the course of digitalization here in University of Reading, and that's the new normal. And we expect everyone to join us in this. So this is one of our convocations, 2019 convocation here in Malaysia. All right, thank you everyone for listening. Today's presentation, I'm going to provide a background of digital leadership. Then we are going to define what's digital leadership. Then we are going to discuss extensively about a framework for digital leadership and transformation in the digital age. Now, this framework will have about 4 phases: where you are right now, where do you stand in your company, where do you stand right now, what are the threats of digitalization in your business, this is very key, and how are you enabled to a kind of transform successfully. And then do you have a culture that will imbibe a kind of innovation. This is key. So we are going to explain, we are going to discuss about this framework, which is very key to our presentation today. Then we are going to discuss about the skills of leadership, digital leadership. As a digital leader, you need to have some skills. What are those skills that are expected of you? This is very important. Then at the conclusion, I'm going to give you our experience, my experience rather, in University of Reading. And I'm going to kind of highlight the potential of digitalization. What are the benefits of digitalization? Thank you. All right, as a background, in 1980, this is what we have. An old PC computer, trying to do business with it. But today, in 2020, we have a PC that is a web-based technology with internet. This helps us to track orders, to manage supply chain. This helps us to do business with clients and customers. And right now, we're talking about a lot of things, right? We're talking about different things in the digital world. So now, with the technological development, it continues to change the way we work, the way whatever we do in many ways. So we need to adapt to this change. All right, today we're talking about a lot of things in our world today. We're talking about cloud computing, Internet of Things, smart sensor, advanced robotics, AR, VR, 3D printing, big data analytics, and a lot of things. This is the new normal. So we have to adapt as digital leaders to do the right thing in order to advance or add value to our company. All right. Digital is a new normal, completely new reality. Digital is everywhere. I've just explained about Industry 4.0, AI, and a lot of things. These are the most discussed topics in the world today, the digital world today. Some of us are at this point and we really want to reach this height. So what are the expectations? So each of these, VR, AI, IoT, has already transformed the way we communicate, the way we interact, the way we work, and the way we live. And this is only the beginning. This will change every company, every institution, every company, every industry, the ICT and media, the banking sector, insurance, education, real estate, leisure, business, construction, manufacturing, healthcare. It will affect every sector. So this is a fact right now. According to Forrester 2014, 74% of 1,254 global business executives state that they have a digital strategy, but only 15% believe they have the necessary capabilities and skill to execute that strategy. This is very poor, right? 74% have this digital strategy, but only 15% have the capabilities and the skills to execute that strategy. So this is a fact. And this is the challenge right now. To manage digital transformation will decide which business will survive and which business will not survive. So right now, we must adapt. We should be able to execute our digital strategy. We have to. We must have the skills and the capabilities to execute these strategies. And that's a challenge right now. This will take us to our topic of today, which is digital leadership. What is it all about? Digital leadership is an important factor in managing these challenges that I have just mentioned. And it has become a key concept in the discussion of what kinds of skills managers need for digital transformation. So some skills are actually expected of us. So digital leadership is an important factor in resolving these challenges, right? So now we're going to define the term digital leadership. Digital leadership is an enabling leadership that supports continual exploration within an organization to create value for customers using advanced technology. So the keywords here is adding value. To who? To customers. So customers, services, these are key, and using digital and advanced technology. So, and it has to be continual in nature. So that's digital leadership. Another school of thought define this digital leadership as that leadership that enables customer-centric and service-driven culture using technology. So this is very straightforward. We use technology to meet the expectations, the requirements of our clients, the requirements of our customers. That is digital leadership. That means a digital leader must have the digital skills to execute any digital strategy, right? Or any strategic goal of a company. Now, digital leadership is a strategic use of a company's digital assets to achieve business goals. So in your company, you need to have digital assets because you already have strategic initiatives, strategic goals. So what are those digital assets do you need to have in order to achieve these goals? This is very key in our discussion today. Therefore, an effective digital leader should be aware of his environment, should be aware of the business goals and digital assets in a constantly changing landscape. The environment constantly changes. That is why the first definition emphasizes on continual exploration within the organization to create value for customers. This is digital leadership. So as a digital leader, you have to be knowledgeable of the skills needed to advance any form of digital transformation. This is key. All right. We are going to discuss about the framework. Every company, every institution, every organization, every setup must kind of use this framework for digital leadership. So the first question you need to ask yourself, or as the leader of your company, where does my company stand? You need to know that. It's very important. Where do I stand? Where does my company stand? This is very important. Then the next thing you need to ask yourself, how can my company survive in this digital world? Having known where your company stands, you need to ask yourself, how can your company survive? This is very, very important. And then the last question, which is also very important, how do you start? Having known where you're standing, having asked yourself how to survive, now how can you start? Where should you start? This is very key. Okay. All right, these are the 4 phases of the framework. And this framework is very key for every digital leader in any organization. The first thing you need to ask yourself, where does my company stand? It's very important. Then, what is the threat of digitalization to your business? That's key. You need to analyze those threats to know how you're going to cope, right? Now, the third phase is about how will I make my company enabled in order to transform effectively and successfully. So transformation is key in digital leadership. Your organization or company must be enabled to transform its present state. And the last thing is about having a culture of innovation, having a culture of change. How can I ensure constant change and constant innovation? This is very key. So some companies do not have the culture of innovation. And as we earlier mentioned, some companies may not survive, and we don't hope so. So we hope and we believe you're going to have a constant change, a good culture for innovation. All right, this is the framework. The first phase is about awareness. Where do your company stand? It is very, very important. Then the second is realization. Realization, what are the threats of digitalization in your company, to your company? This is very, very important. Then we talk about how enabled is your company in order to transform successfully, which talks about transformation. And the last one is imbibing the culture of innovation, constant innovation. This is very, very key. So we are going to kind of go through each of the factors or questions under each phase. So the first thing is, where do your company stand? You ask yourself, as a business school in Indonesia, in the US, or anywhere in the world, in Nigeria, in Malaysia, where do your company stand? That's very, very important. So what do you need to ask yourself? What has happened or is happening to your company across other industries? That's key. You need to know what is happening to other companies within the industry, right? Then you need to establish, where does your company stand, right? Having analyzed all these things, what is happening or has happened, where does your company stand? This is very, very important. And then the next thing you need to ask yourself, what kind of digital technology exists right now? And how could they possibly affect my business? That's very key. That's the first phase for every digital leader. You have to analyze this first phase thoroughly. It's a key starting point. What is happening around you and where does your company stand? That's very, very important. And the next stage is about the practical, the threats of digitalization to your company. What threats is digitalization causing your company? And what are the possible mitigations? How can I reduce these threats? This is very, very important. This is very, very key. Then again, time is of essence. Time is good. How much time do I have to react to these threats? The longer you take, you may be out of business. So you have to take the right time, right? You have to react timely in order to forge ahead. Then again, who is responsible for the digital aspects of your company? You need to know that. It's very important to be specific, to assign roles to your employees. Who is responsible for digital aspects? What are the concrete practical steps to take in order to mitigate, to reduce these obvious threats? This is very important. You need to know this also. Okay. Having known where you're standing and having known the likely threats of digitalization to your company, the next thing is, how are you going to make your company enabled in order to transform successfully? This is very, very important, friends. So again, you need to know what is the right person to become the digital leader. Skills, knowledge, these are very, very important. Training is very, very important. So for transformation, you need to know the right person to become your digital leader. This is very, very key. Then how can you lead in order to enable new solutions, new technologies, and new businesses in the future as a digital leader? So as overall boss, you need to know the digital techniques. You need to know these new technologies, It's very, very important in order to kind of oversee your employees. Then what kind of technology should be established to transform successfully? It's not every technology. It depends on your business. So if you're talking of big data, if you're talking of AR, if you're talking of whatever new technology, it has to kind of align with your business strategy. So you need to know what technologies do you need in order to transform your company successfully. That is also very, very key. So now, having discussed transformation, the last thing, but very, very important also, is constant innovation. How will you imbibe the culture of innovation, the culture of change? How can you change your culture to enable innovation? This is important to all business schools. It's important to every company, to every industry. The culture of change is key. How do you ensure constant change? You don't just need to be stagnant. Remember, digitalization keeps changing. The landscape changes every day, every minute. Now, another important factor is collaboration. Right now, what we are doing is collaboration, right? I'm here in Malaysia. We have people from US and everywhere in the world. We collaborate with business school in Malaysia and everywhere in the world is key. So ask yourself, within the industry, how do you collaborate with the ecosystem to stay ahead of new trends, new technologies? For instance, in my school, University of Reading here in Malaysia, we are using different digital platforms. We know there are a lot of them, but the school has its own platform for collaboration with students, collaboration with staff, collaboration with the teaching and learning approaches. So now you need to ask yourself, within your ecosystem, how do you collaborate to stay ahead of things, new trends and new technology? This is very, very important. So friends, this framework is so key to today's topic about awareness, about realization, about transformation, and about constant change. So I hope today, after this very session, you are going to use this framework to kind of add value to your company. Okay? Now, we have skills of digital leadership. You don't just lead without skills. So we have general skills, like 4 general skills of a digital leader: cognitive skills, business skills, interpersonal skills, strategic skills. Cognitive skills are general skills: active listening, writing, reading, active learning, engaging your employees, right? Critical thinking. Okay. So these are the cognitive skills. Then the business skills, we talk about operational analysis. You need to carry out a kind of performance analysis and compare it against performance benchmark or performance criteria. How is your business doing? Is it going fine? You need to carry out operational analysis as a digital leader. That is a business skill. Then you need to know how to manage your personal resources, manage your financial resources, and manage your material resources. These are all business skills that a digital leader must have. Then we need a digital leader should have very good interpersonal skill. How do you coordinate? How do you negotiate? How do you persuade? Then we also have what is called social perceptiveness. You need to know why your employees act the way they do. That's a very special skill. You need to know why they do things. You don't just allow them to do things. You need to know why. Why do they act the way they do? That's social perceptiveness. And then the next is strategic skills, where you talk about visioning. You need to develop a plan, a goal for your company, like a vision for your company. And you need to evaluate the whole system, which is called system evaluation. You need to identify the downstream consequences. The downstream consequences are actually the benefits and the cost of your decision. You need to analyze that based on your decision as a digital leader. What are the benefits? What are the costs? A kind of cost effectiveness. That's the identification of downstream consequences. This is very, very key and very important in any organization, in any institution. You need to identify the problem in your company and you need to find solutions to these problems. So these skills are general but very important: cognitive skills, business skills, interpersonal skills, and strategic skills, right? Okay, the next aspect is also the skills of digital leader. So this is very important. The one at the middle is so important for today's discussion. As a digital leader, you need to have adequate knowledge about the use of digital technologies. You don't just lead without having the necessary knowledge. So training is key at the individual level and at the management level. Is very, very important. Apart from teamwork, proper personal image, listening ability to deal with change, relationship with clients, customers, you need to have knowledge of the digital technologies. That is key as a digital leader. So as the head of school, University of Reading, I have to know all the equipments and all the new trends in the school: 3D printing, VR, and a lot of things. I have to use the digital platform to collaborate with students if they have any issues or any concerns, and a lot of things. So in your company, you need to have adequate knowledge of the use of the digital technologies in your company. That is a skill of a digital leader. All right. I hope you are ready to become a digital leader today. This is me here trying to have engaging platforms discussing about leadership. These are our students at the University of Reading, Malaysia. Now, to conclude my session, I would like to tell you the potentials of digitalization. This is very, very key. Digitalization actually enhances interconnection and integration. This has greatly increased due to digitalization. It enables sharing of knowledge and best practices. So this is one of the potentials, one of the advantages, one of the strengths of digitalization. This will definitely drive productivity, it will drive effectiveness, it will drive sustainability in an innovative and dynamic way, right? Then the next is diminishing time lag and abundance of information. Digitalization has increased speed of information, whether we like it or not. That is a strength, that is a potential of digitalization. We now have shorter time frames for decision making. That is an advantage of digitalization. We have increased forms of interaction. This is enabled by a lot of technology, smartphones, social media, a lot of things. So this is one of the potentials of digitalization. The next, hierarchy removal and dissolvement of personal barriers. Management executives now learn from younger generations. Now, that will definitely make them to diverge from formal and professional positions, barriers and other barriers in the company. So time and attendance are artificial barriers that can be removed with digitalization. Right now, I'm here, you're over there, we're communicating, we're collaborating, we're sharing knowledge, and we're sharing best practices. That is the potential of digitalization. Then decision enabler. It enables faster decision-making processes, short time frames for decision-making between internal and external resources, even within an organization, between the top management, the middle management, and the operatives. It's a kind of enables faster decision-making. So the last is effective communication and collaboration. Digitalization enables humans to easily interact, easily communicate, and easily interlink through virtual platforms and tools. So having discussed about digitalization, the framework of digitalization, and the skills of this digitalization, I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Professor Tanko. If you can check the Q&A on your bottom of the screen. There are 3 questions. Can you check it?
Let me stop sharing.
Yep.
Okay.
You can answer those questions very briefly. First, from Wening Widi, what are the challenges of digital leadership in the future?
All right, that's a very good question. The challenges of leadership. Where's the question? Can I get it again?
Yeah, digital leadership after pandemic COVID-19.
Yeah. The thing is, COVID-19 came. It will definitely go, but our lives will never remain the same again. That's just the truth. We shall continue to engage digitally. We shall continue to have online meetings, online platforms, because of the obvious advantages, right? So the challenges right now is about training with respect to digital techniques. The challenges again is investing in these digital technologies. The problem is they're actually very expensive. Some are expensive, right? So now you have to invest and then you have to train. These are the 2 major challenges that if you can overcome these challenges, then you won't have much problem. Investment in digital technologies and training, the skills and the knowledge of digital abilities. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. And the second question is from Eko Heru Prasetyo. First question, some studies assert that digitization is analogous to an invisible engine. Those platforms founder might possess very little ability to control fraudulent, like hacking, forging, etc. How would a leader overcome these issues?
All right. So now, yeah, I got the questions. So every online platform actually has its own limitations, right?
Okay.
About hacking, about a kind of identity forging. So again, I will advise, as a leader, we have a lot of new technologies that can check all those things out. Hacking, a kind of identity forging. So again, you have to invest in these new technologies that will actually help you to avoid having such issues in your company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me forward to the third questions from anonymous attendee. In digital age, some sources said that small and medium enterprises lead in businesses. I need to know what kind of SME is best fit to this era after the pandemic.
Where's the question again?
What kind of small medium enterprise is best fit to this era after the pandemic of coronavirus?
All right. Okay. That's a very, very, very good question.
Yeah.
But I won't have a definite answer for this question. But the thing is, after this era, you have to adapt to the changing environment, the new normal. Whether you are a small business or big business or middle business. And again, the only way I will advise is people need support from government for small business enterprises. You need intervention from the government in order to survive. Because you can't actually compete with the big industries in the digital world. So that's the advice I will give. You need support from the government, you need support from bigger organizations in order for you to continue with your business. And you need to have a very good business strategy in order to excel. As we earlier mentioned about the skills and the strengths, right? Where do your company stand? What are the threats of digitalization? How can you enable your company to transform digitally, and how to imbibe the culture of innovation? So whether it's a small or medium enterprise, you have to use that framework at your level in order to succeed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.